Just a quick one and shit, you know, I don't even know why I bothered.
Let's face it, most of us aren't going to set foot.
I'm gonna go back to the module.
The only country in the entire Middle East would even survive for a weekend.
I don't know if that's true anymore. Like the UAE, I've been to Abu Dhabi. Life is more relatable to the average American in the UAE or in Dubai than it is.
It's a disingenuous argument.
Why is it disingenuous?
Because I just told you, you say you'll
I could survive in every single one of them.
You couldn't.
How can I not? Let's not move the goalposts.
You could live with yourself knowing that that's how women are treated.
I hate this moral argument like we do about women around the world. Like, such a bullshit argument. You keep moving the goalposts.
Okay, good. Either you're kidding or this is stupid.
If you don't agree with me, you're dumb, is why Trump's elected. I think if the burden is on Israel to prove to the American people why it's advantageous to America to continue to support.
Andrew Schultz recently sat down with Bill Maher on Club Random, a show that's, according to Bill, a chill space for him to hang out with friends. Bill clearly expected a victory lap. He thought he was inviting a fellow comedian who would nod along to his outdated talking points. He was wrong. What began as a standard discussion on free speech spiraled into a heated debate over America's relationship with Israel. Maher attempted to use his classic quote-unquote Ivy League logic, arguing that we must support Israel simply because it's the only place in the Middle East
to question mark.
Could survive a week.
What the
It was
fuck
a shallow,
does question mark mean?
That completely ignored the geopolitical and economic reality on the ground. Schultz wasn't having it as he systematically dismantled Bill's democracy.
Yo, dumbass again. Did I squeeze the shit out your mom's titties, nigga? I mean, damn, yo, my arms are still tired from the last time I had that bitch's titties in my fucking arms. I had to squeeze the shit out of them, bro. God damn.
So here's an example.
She wants some more? She bored?
All the time, like, obviously the politicians have no clue how to communicate most of them, and they're just like, well, this is our closest ally. And then you get asked why, and they go, oh, they don't know, because they're just being told that they're the closest ally. Well,
You just here smoking dope that your mom paid for.
What it is. It's like, I think
that's very important. They're the closest ally in the Middle East because they're
Damn
the
know
only
it.
country in the entire Middle East that anyone in this
Computer.
country is hypocrites.
Turn on the TV lights and the entertainment lights.
You wouldn't want to live.
I don't know if that's true anymore. Like the UAE, I've been to Abu
The
Dhabi.
UAE is not the Muslim world. If you're talking about
But they're in the Middle East. That's what you're talking
but
about.
you're talking about a tiny percentage of what typical life is like in 60 Muslim countries. You're talking
About to play the song I would, but you know, YouTube be a hoe.
So restaurateurs could come and spend their money.
Right.
We're talking about far less than 1% of the way life is like. You would not want to live even in a like Jordan. And your wife certainly wouldn't enjoy living there.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's really logical points.
Well, these are factual points.
Yeah.
This isn't cool.
They are.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's like, I gave you another option that is true.
Well, but it's
I think, matter of fact, I would even argue that life is more relatable to the average American in the UAE or in Dubai than it is in...
again, but it's a disingenuous argument.
Why is it disingenuous?
Because I just told you.
You said you can't live there, and I was like, here's another place.
Because it's not typical. I said the entire Middle East. So so look, here's the thing. If I say you have to move,
Yeah.
somewhere in America,
Yeah.
and I'm going to throw a dart at a map with a
Yeah.
blindfold on.
Yeah.
And could you survive anywhere else in America where that dart? You absolutely could. You could live in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
You could live anywhere in America.
Yeah.
If I throw a dart at a map
Yeah.
of the entire, all 16 Muslim majority countries, we need... What?
I'm not a gay guy. Like, I could live in any single one of them. That's on her.
Okay.
So you're talking about me surviving. You're like, I could live very comfortably in every single country. Like, again, let's not move the goalposts. You're asking if I could live comfortably.
You could live with yourself knowing that that's how women are treated in your
I
world.
hate this moral argument, like we give a fuck about women around the world. Like, and this is like,
You say you'd be happy.
this is such a bullshit argument.
If you noticed, Andrew was about to make a strong point before Bill interrupted him. And I think what he was going to say was that politicians treat ordinary Americans like they're dumb and expect them to blindly accept that Israel is our greatest ally without ever questioning it. What does that even mean? Why are people not allowed to question? Why exactly is Israel America's greatest ally? Is it simply because it's the only democracy in the Middle East, as Bill said, which seems to be their go-to argument? How does that alone make a country our greatest ally? Bill Maher interrupted him because he knew exactly where Andrew was heading. He didn't want to expose or challenge the unquestioned
Only
support
for
for Israel,
pussy.
since Bill himself was a big supporter. Instead, Bill tried to pivot by saying Andrew couldn't live in any Muslim-majority country, and to be fair, Andrew probably couldn't live in most of them, especially Afghanistan. But that wasn't the point. The real question, which Bill brilliantly tried to blame, is this. If America is spending billions of dollars in taxpayer money to Israel every year, why aren't ordinary Americans allowed to ask what they're getting in return? How exactly does this benefit them? And if being a democracy is the main qualification, then what is it? When you think Brazil or Venezuela, both democracies, America's greatest ally, just for how Andrew closer to nearly 20 years was fighting against Israel, even though he didn't live by it.
That's funny, I don't have no music on, so you must be hearing your own bullshit fucking music.
No, I didn't say happy. I said I could live. You keep moving the goalposts.
Okay, good. I'm sorry.
Let's stay with what you said. I could live easily in every single one of the countries outside of the wars that are existing. But you're saying in peacetime? Easily. Easily. You live
You
easily.
could easily live in Kabul, Afghanistan.
Is there war happening? Is
No,
the Taliban
no.
doing their thing?
No war. No war.
So
war's over.
War's over? I could kick it in Kabul for a month easy. Enjoying life. Now, am I doing stand-up every night? No. But could I take a little vacation?
I don't know if you're kidding with me.
I'm just telling you, I think it...
I'll give you two options. Either you're kidding or this is stupid.
Look, that's just pretentious. You're doing the thing that
It's
you
not
do.
pretentious
You are doing the
that
thing.
you could live in Kabul and be happy, or get by, or you could be no big deal.
You're doing
It's
the
dumb.
thing that gets...
It's not worth
This is
like to say.
I didn't say what you're saying, but that is, if you don't agree with me, you're dumb, is why Trump is elected. And this is what Democrats do.
Yeah, but
and this is,
sometimes dumb is dumb.
yeah, but people are dumb. So deal with that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah.
stop acting
Well,
like
you
everybody's
kinda have
smart.
to.
Like, this is the problem. It's like you have all these people that go to Ivy League schools, and they're like, we know better than everybody else, and we'll just tell you what to do, and you guys are all stupid, and I know you feel like you want this, but you don't really want this, and if you disagree with me, you're an idiot. And then all of a sudden they go, you know what? You guys, I'm voting for that one. And it's very simple.
Yeah, that's true too.
So
But
we can't speak down to people if we know that they're going to react emotionally. I guess what I'm trying to say is, even with the like, for example, the Israel conversation, right? So if I know people are reacting emotionally to this, right? Who is the burden on? If we have this deep connection with Israel, which I believe we do, right? I think if the burden is on Israel to prove to the American people, who definitely they rely on for support in this conflict, I think that the burden is on them to communicate to the American people why it's advantageous to America to continue to support them. Like, and if they can't communicate a reason, you can't be upset at the American people for being confused about it. We have that same energy towards Ukraine. We go, wait a minute, they're getting how many $1 billion? Okay, over here, if eggs were cheap, I don't care about where you throw the money. But once eggs get expensive, I start going, where's the money going? $200 million going over there? So when economic times are very difficult here in America, or any country in the world, there's going to be some questions asked about where this money is going. As they should be. I think it's a very normal thing. And unfortunately for Jews, when economic conditions turn shitty in countries, people start looking and they go, I think it might be their fault.
Once again, I agree with Bill that Andrew probably couldn't live in Kabul comfortably, not even for a month, as he said. However, Bill indirectly called him stupid, and that felt pretty low. I understand calling something stupid when a person claims they could survive jumping off a rooftop, but that's nowhere near what Andrew was saying. You can't just talk down to people like that. Andrew gave the perfect example of how the Ivy League crowd often labels anyone who disagrees with them as stupid. It's exactly this kind of condescension that drove many voters toward Trump, and Andrew was right to call it out. I think Bill understood that, because the very liberals he criticizes and mocks on his show Real Time with Bill Maher do the exact same thing. Andrew then smartly pivoted back to the original point he was trying to make before Bill interrupted him: the burden of proof. If Israel or any country wants...
That pussy ass nigga the fuck out of here.
taking a $25 Google TV box from Walmart, and I'm turning this thing into a retro gaming device. Check it before you wreck it. What's up, geeks? I'm Kirk. It's going to take 4 steps to do this. This is so incredibly easy, and make sure you stick around to the B side of this video because I'm going to show you how to turn on the coolest feature that really takes you back to the 1980s. Step 1 is installing the emulator, and we're going to be using a brand new app for Google TV. It's called Cannoli. Yeah, just like the Italian dessert. I like the name, and I love the app. It's super simple, so easy to install, and so easy to just start playing games. Now, on the Google TV box, you're going to have to what they call sideload this app, because it's an APK file. It's not in the Google Play Store. Sideloading it may sound complicated. It's not. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. So, what we want to do is go over to the settings option, because the first thing we can do is unlock what they call called developer mode. When you go to all settings, you'll have an option called system. Go into system, and then inside of about, you'll scroll down to the bottom where it says Android TV OS Build. For unlocking developer mode by hitting the center button on the remote 7 times, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boom. It says you are now a developer on the bottom of the screen, and you can double check that by going back, and you should see a new menu called Developer Apps. If you're going to a right now, just make sure that menu option is now there inside the system menu. That means that developer mode has it activated. Now you need to get that file downloaded to the Google TV box, the APK file, which is the application file, so that we can properly install it. I've got a really easy way for you to do it. So go into your apps menu on the top of the screen, scroll down where it says search for apps and games, and you're going to install an app called Download. Here it is, it's going to look just like this. It's got the big orange square with the white V in the middle. Select that, and you can go to install it as well. Once it's installed, you'll find to some Bluetooth controllers on Amazon that will work great with this. You can use a PlayStation controller, an Xbox controller. As long as it supports Bluetooth mode, you can connect this, pair it with your Google TV box, and use it with a controller. Okay, so we want to go up to the top menu of Google TV, go over to your quick settings, and then go down to where it says Bluetooth, and click into that section. You'll see the only device we have here right now is our remote, and we can hit pair remote or accessory, and now you can start searching for other Bluetooth devices. Now you gotta look up the instructions for your remote. In my case, I hold down this middle button, and it'll start fast blinking, which puts this controller into discovery mode, and now you'll see it pops up in my menu as Bluetooth gamepad. I will select that and start pairing, and within about 15-20 seconds, my Bluetooth gamepad will be paired with the Google TV. It may come up and ask you for a code, or it may ask you for a simple pairing request. Again, look at the instructions for your specific controller to tell you what settings or what code you may need. But once it's connected, that's it. And you can see if it's connected by using the buttons on your gamepad to navigate around the actual Google TV interface, and it should work just like your controller works. Step 3 is getting those video game files, they're called ROM files, over to your Google TV box. And this is what's really cool about Canoli, is that they really make those files easy. So let me jump over in my app menu here, down to Canoli. You can see the icon is clear Canoli, and it's tiny over here. I love it, so cool. You click on it, and it'll load up the app. The first time you load it up, it's going to give you this. It says all files access required. Essentially, Canoli is saying, hey, look, you need to access the files on your Google TV device, and Google TV requires you to actually approve that feature. So we'll click the button on the remote, it'll pop up right in your settings menu, and you just simply have to turn this on to allow Canoli to manage your files, and then you hit the back button, and it'll bring you this option. So what this is basically saying where do you want to store the video game files when you transfer them over. If you have external storage, some Google TV boxes have an SD card slot, some have a big USB port, so you can have a hard drive or an external USB thumb drive. In my case, and because I'm going to be messing around with Nintendo files, Super Nintendo files, they're all pretty small files. I'm going to stick with the external storage. But if you start using bigger files, or you want to have more game files, or some of the new systems for files, you may want to look at the storage, not just the original storage. Now, you'll notice too, on the bottom of the screen, it's got where people it's asking for the keys on the Bluetooth controller. So in this case, I'm going to start, and then just go right out there. Set up that. This is what the basic set up really, it takes nothing at all. It is ready to go. So hit continue to jump into the main menu. Simplicity is key here, and it says no content found, so go add some. Essentially what it's saying is we don't have any video game files, any ROM files, so there's nothing for us to do. But what's cool about Canoli is that you can hit the Y button on the controller in the bottom right-hand corner to go to the kitchen. And it gives you a QR code. This is so cool. I've never seen this like this. So again, shout out to
It will be fast, possibly painless. Die fast, please. It is over. So you can be a pirate, and you can get those files however you want. That's between you and you can use ROM files for games that I actually own. You can sort that out and figure out how you want to get those ROM files on your own. You can use Google, pretty easy to find. You'll be able to find it. So for example, though, I click on Nintendo Entertainment System, and it'll give me these options. I'm going to click on ROMs, and now it's saying, hey, drag and drop the files here that you want to add. So I go to a folder where I have my Nintendo ROMs. I've got Marble Madness and Lemmings in there. I'll drag and drop them, and boom, that's it. They're now uploaded from my web browser over to my Google TV box. It could not get any easier. I'll do the same thing for Super Nintendo. I'll go into ROMs, and I have some Super Nintendo ROMs here. Looks like that Super Mario World, one of my favorite games. Let me do the same thing. I'll scroll down to Sega Genesis. I'll go into ROMs, and I'm going to drag Sonic the Hedgehog in and add that game as well. You'll notice there are tons of different options in here. Not all of these are going to work with your Google TV box because your Google TV, for example, the Wii U, might not be powerful enough to run Wii U games. You're going to have to experiment, see which ROMs you can get a hold of, and see which systems work on your Google TV box. I will say, for the most part, the older systems, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Nintendo, Sega, Game Gear, Genesis,
etc., etc. Those ones should work without any problem on most Google TV hardware, but again, you'll have to play around and figure out what works best for you. So now that I've uploaded those files, that's it. I'm going to go back to my Google TV box, and I'll hit the B button to jump back, and you'll notice I now have multiple systems listed here that I can choose from. So, for example, if I want to go into Nintendo Entertainment System, it'll have the 2 games there that I just uploaded, and I'll select Lemmings, one of my favorite games in the world, and that's it. It jumps right into Lemmings. Look at that. Step 4 is to play your games and have a whole lot of fun. And you can see here I'm using my Bluetooth controller. I can jump into Lemmings here, and it'll play, of course, just like I remember. You gotta love Lemmings. Classic game. If I hit the back button, I can go into this menu and I can quit out of here. I can go back to my main menu here. Again, the design here is super simple for a reason. That is what the developer wanted to do. Keep things simple. I think this is great for most people. If I go into Super Nintendo, I see Super Mario World, and I can pop this game up just like I remember playing it. And it's so nice to have the controller to be able to play that as well. So on the B side, and I promised you a really cool feature that I think takes you back to playing your face screen.
I hate playing other people's games.
And take a look at this. If I hit the back button while I'm in this game, I go down to settings, and check that. Inside video, there's a feature called shader. I'm going to move myself out of the way here. A shader kind of decides how the game is going to be displayed. And in this case, I'm going to select CRT cannoli because that's my favorite here. How cool is that? It's got this retro look. It looks just like a TV down in 1989 in the basement. It's got the scan line that goes from the top to the bottom. I think this is so awesome. I hope that was useful. I hope you can follow along with those 4 steps that get you into retro gaming on your Google TV box. Grab yourself a Bluetooth controller, start doing it right now. What the first retro game you're going to install on this thing? Which game is the one you want to go back and play the most? Is it Mario? Is it football? Is it any other game? Sega, Sonic, Pokemon, some of the games? And do me a bigger favor, subscribe to the channel. Because not only will it help you see new videos like Pokemon, but it'll also help you come down and also help you grow. I'll see you next time here on the channel. I'll talk to you.
All right, ready or not, here I come.
medicine is about the same. Yes, it's lasers and robots and complex procedures.
But here, one moment this guy is driving through Kentucky with his 3-year-old daughter asleep in the backseat. But just a few moments later, he's outside his car on the asphalt getting the crap kicked out of him by a Kentucky state trooper. 7 months ago, I showed you the video of Kentucky State Trooper Seth Owens arresting Devin Langsdorff during a traffic stop. After beating him, Trooper Owens charged Devin with speeding, reckless driving, failure to produce insurance, failure to maintain insurance, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, no registration receipt, and endangering the welfare of the minor. Trooper Owens really threw the book at Devin.
Yes? This is Trooper Owens with the state police. What's wrong? Your husband's going to jail. You need to come up here and get your daughter. He was driving reckless and then some other stuff.
At the time I covered the incident 7 months ago, the charges were still pending, but now, just a few days ago, those criminal charges went to a jury trial.
A man who says he was violently arrested and falsely charged took the stand in his own defense today.
The case went before a Royal County jury, and it didn't take them very long to reach a verdict.
And rather than hear it from me, I want you to hear from the actual lawyer who tried that case. And he's a good one. Basically, Trooper Owens effed around, and he found out.
On cross-examination, I said, leaving to use it, what you had in stock. I don't remember. This trooper's testimony is off. The faces of the jury is very tough, but he says, smile, say KSP got you. I asked him, I said, tell me about that. Do you think that was appropriate? He goes, no, that was very unprofessional.
Excellent word.
I mean, this trooper, honestly, I do not believe to be properly prepared to take a witness stand. I said, I would this way. I mean, they served him up on a civil trial.
The cases that stay with me are the ones where the damage was done before anyone even knew to fight back. By the time they understood their options, it was too late. Medicare is much the same. People trust that their Medicare has their best interests in mind, and unfortunately that isn't often the case. In fact, the DOJ filed a massive fraud complaint alleging that the largest brokers in the country were steering seniors to the plans that paid the highest kickbacks to them as opposed to the plans that were right for the actual seniors. That's why Chapter is important. They are the Medicare advocates that I trust because Chapter is the only advisor that compares every Medicare plan nationwide, and their advisors are independent, unbiased, and salary-based so that they work for you and not big insurance. If you are already on the right plan, they will tell you, and if not, they can help you switch. The call is free, and they can review your options in about 20 minutes. So call Chapter at 215-876-8603. Again, that number is 215-876-8603. Navigate Medicare with the advocate that you deserve. Now let's get back to the video. This involves what appears to be a young Kentucky State Trooper named Seth Owens. It all starts off as a routine speeding stop, where apparently the speed limit is only 55, despite the fact that this is a divided 4-lane highway. While traveling east on Highway 150, I observed the above vehicle traveling westbound at 81 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone. I made a U-turn to catch up to the vehicle. After multiple miles, I observed the vehicle to be traveling 86 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone. By all accounts, this began as just a regular, routine traffic stop for speeding. The entirety of his dash cam footage that showed this guy driving did not show any reckless driving. And then Trooper Owens walks up to the driver's side window of this individual he's just pulled over. Trooper Seth Owens, although he had a body camera in his police car, he was not wearing it for some reason. Now, he puts it on at a later point, as you'll see, but at the very beginning, he is not wearing it. You can hear, I think, some conversation. I can't make any of it out just through the dash cam. That leaves us basically with the testimony of the two individuals as to what was said and what was not said. After making contact with the operator, he was agitated and asked if he could leave the traffic stop. Devin was advised he could not leave and to provide his operator's license. So this is what I'm told was said at the very beginning. As Trooper Owens comes up to the vehicle the first time, as the driver Devin is handing him his license, Devin asks Trooper Owens, "Can I go up here?" pointing to the section ahead of him in the road that's a little bit wider and perhaps safer. In response to this, apparently consenting to that, the trooper turns around and he begins to walk back to his police car. Devin said, "Sir, I wasn't done speaking. Can you please come back?" That's when Trooper Owens just immediately begins to open the driver's side door without saying anything else. In response to that, Devin said, "What are you doing?" Then Trooper Owens proceeded to basically jump over Devin, trying to unbuckle his seatbelt, and he starts sort of cranking on his arm. At that point, Trooper Owens tells him to get out of the car,
Devin asks him, what is the lawful reason? Owen replies, because I said so. Then Devin says, where's your de-escalation stick? Where is his body cam? The stick does something that I don't think I've ever seen, and that's where he goes from a hands-on to just lets go. He grabs his hat off the car, he turns around and he walks away. He goes back to his police car. He then grabs his body cam, he attaches it to his chest, and then he returns to Devin's car.
Get out. Get out. Michael. That's out of the car. I have no guns. Because I said so. Get
is endangering the welfare of America. On the covers, fight against government. That was like 7 months ago. It took all this time to just think these days have just a couple of days ago. Dead and now, completely, 100%.
A man who says he was violently arrested and falsely charged took a stand in his own defense today.
The police went before a jury. It took them very long to reach a verdict. Evidence that Chief King Randall was there for the trial and told them. That's right. Kentucky man Devin Langford was found not guilty for reckless driving and a direct verdict for speeding and resisting arrest. Heard testimony today. Owen says he followed Kentucky State Police protocol, but he later got introduced to it. Langford was charged with
if there just wasn't sufficient evidence to go forward on, I felt, both the reckless driving and the resisting arrest. I thought the videos spoke for themselves, and I asked the jury, I said, I'm going to put towards the law out there. But the final command the Commonwealth going to give me, I said this in the court here, is we're going to want you to disbelieve your eyes and disbelieve your ears. And I asked each one of the jurors on the eyes, and they did, and they did. The judge did grant a directed verdict on the speeding because we had subpoenaed the KSP policies and procedures for radar. There's two prongs to it. One was started his ship and it continued. The Commonwealth and the people testified that he calibrated and continued the ship. I was actually going to stipulate speed. Then as I was preparing for trial, I thought, well, I'm going to stipulate something that they may not prove. And so they failed to ask that second prong to Rollins to calibrate your radar to conclusion of the ship. But when they didn't, there was a directed verdict on that issue. And then on the resisting arrest, the judge actually back in chambers after I made my motion, and as you know, you have to construe the evidence in the light most favorable to the Commonwealth, and you're moving forward with the verdict. And he looked at the video, looked at the laws. I had accepted my jury instructions, and we had some case law that showed that passive resistance is not resisting arrest. And that's why law enforcement was able to use these reports. We don't really just read things as to this context. But passive resistance didn't resist arrest, and the judge, after looking at that, directed a verdict on the resisting arrest. So the judge of the Commonwealth looked at me and said, okay, reckless driving. The officer testified that my client was weaving in and out of traffic, and that he had to catch up to it. Okay? The thing was, his dash cam showed my client weaving through no traffic, showed no other traffic on the highway, and in Kentucky, for careless driving or reckless driving, you have to show that you endangered other vehicles or pedestrians. It was not true on that video. The officer testified that he didn't activate his blue lights until he was close to my client's vehicle, which then activated the dash cam. And so I knew there was sufficient evidence to go to the jury or the Commonwealth, and the judge kind of looked at me, but he clearly pleaded guilty for reckless. Thought about it, and I said no, because the worst that could happen would be the jury finding guilty of reckless. So what I argued to the jury, and I had the protocols and the procedures from KSP, you're supposed to activate your lights when you're in pursuit. And he had testified he'd made a U-turn. He never activated his lights because he was right behind my client. If he had activated his lights, his dash cam would come up, which we think would show no other vehicle. So I said, no, we'll take it to the jury. I didn't put my client on. I didn't put one witness on. I did a 10-minute closing argument, and he basically said you can't believe people over. You've seen what he did on the video. But now he wants to say he's leaving out of cars. He testified he violated 2 of the Kentucky revised statutes, and he violated 3 policies and procedures. The jury was out less than 10 minutes.
He violated
Trooper Owens chose not to even wear or use his body cam
What the fuck is that, huh?
or at the beginning.
Where's
of the
he,
stop.
Lord?
Yes, and he also
Where did you read the question?
was his car. His body cam needed charging, and he used it so many times during the cross-examination. I said, where did you use it? What you let him stop? I don't remember. He also testified in Kentucky, when you place someone under arrest, you have to say, you're under arrest. You have to say what you're under arrest for, and you have to put it in restraint. His testimony on the law was that he placed under arrest the minute he walked up to the
Tratando de joder conmigo. Cabrón, de joder aquí.
So I said, people, what were you placing under arrest for? Well, reckless. How did you say it? Well, I don't know. Well, now, were you really placing under arrest for reckless? Well, I don't remember that. And then he said Devin became the
I don't remember nothing but Major Rent, motherfucker.
Trooper, tell me how he became delinquent. Well, I don't really remember. Trooper, tell me what test scores were used. Well, I can't recall the exact test score. This trooper's testimony is awful. I mean,
Motherfucker, blah, blah, blue, blue, blah.
And that's what I think the
That's all I know. Nobody
Nobody
told me nothing,
I
man.
mean, you can't recall that. So the judge found in his directed verdict that he had never placed him
See
under
one
arrest.
thing out of
And the
place.
trooper on the witness list
2 things really,
admitted
but
he violated the first pair of
I
439,
used that
25,
shit.
or 35 because he didn't place him under arrest. He also admitted he didn't put him in restraints, because if you remember on the video, after he talked to him, he puts his hand on the car, then he puts his hand on the phone, and he walks back. And he says at that point, he's already placed under arrest. I said, how many times have you ever placed somebody under arrest and you leave him in a car? And that also violated the KSP policies and procedures. And then, in the video, which I don't think you've seen. He's got Devin Herndon in the back. He transferred him to the Bill County Detention Center with no seatbelt, which violated not only the KRS on that, but also ASP's policies and procedures.
How old of a guy is Trooper Owens?
I would say late 20s, mid to late 20s.
Yeah, this jury determined that he is a liar.
Absolutely. I think they felt he had no credibility. The faces of the jurors when they were watching these videos, people were turning away, people were shaking their heads. The faces of the jurors were very telling. And in fact, similarly, somebody from his firm was there watching it, and he spent a good portion of his time watching the jurors' faces.
So what happens next? Did you guys file the civil lawsuit?
We had already filed the civil lawsuit. Civil lawsuit. And so we filed that as a motion for a
Did Trooper Owens did he testify about, perhaps it wasn't relevant, but did he testify about the use of force? I mean, where he's out there on the pavement just pounding away at Devin?
He tried to say that was how he was trained. I said, what about the leg whip? He called it a leg sweep. I went through the citation because he says assisted to the ground. He admitted under cross-examination that was not accurate. He said he also extricated him from the car. I said, Trooper, and I had to play that twice in front of the jury. I said, where's your extrication here? He voluntarily comes out. It takes him a while, but he comes out. And so he said, well, that wasn't truthful. And then, in your story, you had played where he says, smile, say KSP got you.
At Middlesex Health, we're doing modern medicine our way.
More accessible, more flexible, more people.
Built around what matters most.
You. Middlesex Health, here for the better.
Maximum prizes, low.
How would I describe myself? Good question. Coach, your project.
Style and substance. In the GMC Sierra. Work at this low-mileage lease for around $441 per month from the Sierra Elevation with a 5.3 liter
In Triple Owens' case, he doubled down. And he doubled down in the left, which is the only thing. I mean, they saw him as a silver point.
It's interesting, given his testimony, that he allegedly didn't use his body cam at the beginning because the batteries didn't know because he had done so much earlier that day. It would be really interesting to lay out all of his activity for that day, before this incident.
Well, that's tremendous difference.
Yeah, he may have committed perjury there and painted himself into a corner, which wouldn't be the first time with the Kentucky State Trooper.
Well, my co-counsels in this case, Vince Caldwell and Ron Caldwell, we had Ron Caldwell we were speaking about that. I said, we're not going to take the truth at this point because we have his testimony locked in. We're going to do our best every process we do actually what we can do from the start of the trip to this occurred, which is about 546.
Do you know whether or not, after this point, Trooper Owens received any sort of discipline from the Kentucky State Police?
To the best of my knowledge, he did not. I will say that several student representatives at the first part of the trial have been met, and the first walk before Trooper Owens on the cross-examination.
I appreciate you sharing this with me and sharing it with others. You really talking about all of this and these results are just fantastic. What we need to see more of. And so please keep up with the and let me know when something happens with that civil case, because I'd like to continue to follow this one.
You know, as I told the jury, as a child, I was in that courthouse. My mother took me out for probably 10 or 11 years old. I was in Harvard, had me sit with the circuit judge for a day, like 4 hours, a year ago. A lot. And I told him, I said, this has been a dream of mine, and I got to let my dream. And when you get a dream, it's important. It was also, I turned 70 in December. I won a jury for 6 decades in my life. 6 in my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. But it's always kind of cool. And I said, I still enjoy that work. I'm still talking about it.
Well, I can tell that. And it's hard to believe that you're 70. That's wild. You are highly educated. You have some secret. What is it a secret to you to get into your thing? It's going to be one person. It's going to be a village. It's going to be 5 hours. Well, I know the business. You actually are good. So I would like to say that I really appreciate it. Again, please let me know what you because
thank you very much.
So Jerry, 16 years ago, his mother takes him in this very same courthouse, and he just sits there and he watches. He's inspired to become a lawyer. It becomes his dream. Now, here he is, 16 years later, in that very same courthouse, not only living his dream, but that almost everyone who ever went to law school actually dreamed the dream of doing, but never really got the chance. Standing in front of a jury, literally defending the Constitution. And intellectually obliterating a line police officer with just a hard speech. He even warned the prosecutors that he was going to do it, and he still let it happen. He exposed Trooper Seth Owens as a liar, like he realized that even forcing him to admit how bad he actually was, saving his client by having the coke thrown at him, to 7 months later getting a unanimous not guilty verdict. just like his
because he said he was uncooperative.
Hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Hands behind your back.
I would say 99.9% of traffic stops go smoothly and without incident, but I've been involved in chases. I've been like full car ran. I've been punched, kicked, bitten, spit on, stomped, beaten. Was dragged down the road a couple hundred feet by a car.
Furman's lawyer, Dennis Whitey, would show video from that last incident 9 years before his client would tase Williams, where Furman was dragged by a fleeing driver. That, Furman says, highlights just how dangerous traffic stops can quickly become.
Yeah, I've heard nightmares about that incident. I think about it all the time, and it's on my mind with pretty much every traffic stop.
Furman said his use of the taser was proper and within policy because Williams did not immediately comply with his commands to leave the vehicle or put his hands behind his back. And as for the video showing Furman pulling Williams' hair into the back of a fire truck while he was handcuffed,
people in handcuffs can still do bad things.
He said his decision to tase Alicia Cook, the mother parked in the school parking lot with her daughters while they waited for cheerleading practice to start, followed the force continuum. And in closing arguments, Attorney Whitey said his client was never found to have violated Melvindale's policies.
You may not like anything to it, but you've taken an oath to render just verdict under the law. So what the law says here, like it or not, follow the policy.
Under cross-examination, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Matthew Makepeace asked Furman why he was so quick to use his taser, while another officer held Williams by the shoulders.
Even though Lieutenant Rahman has him on his right arm, on top of the car, telling him to calm down, you're yelling at him to put his hands down. Is that fair?
Correct.
And as you're saying it the second time, during the time, you don't finish it. You just tase him as you're saying, correct?
Correct.
You did not give him any chance to comply with that second command. Shouldn't have need for a second command. He should have complied after the first. And with a dry stun, you typically want to use that, if possible, as a surprise, so that people aren't able to prepare to attack or defend themselves from that.
Where in the taser policy that Melvindale has does it say you should drive stun by surprise?
I don't know if that's in there.
He asked Furman why he left out an important detail in his use of force report about the Williams stop.
You never mentioned anything about putting his head into a fire truck in that report, correct?
I don't recall.
Would you like to see that portion of the report?
Yes.
In their closing, the prosecution said Furman was a symptom of a department that had long been a mess. No oversight and no accountability, allowing bad behavior to continue unchecked.
He did all of those things of his own free will. Knowing, because of the situation at Melvindale, that he could get away with it. Because there was no oversight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you now to be that oversight.
The jury will continue deliberations at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And that was 7 investigator Ross Jones reporting. Now to a dramatic moment in the trial of a controversial police officer. His own fellow officers testifying against Matthew Furman. For over 2 years, 7 investigator Ross Jones has been revealing the alleged uses of excessive force at the center of this case. Today, Ross was in the courtroom as Furman's former fellow officers took the stand, saying his actions crossed the line and may have been criminal. But the defense argued he was just doing his job in following policy. Here's 7 investigator Ross Jones.
With the police chief who fired him sitting in the courtroom gallery, Matthew Furman's criminal trial reached its second day Tuesday as new witnesses took the stand.
The mirror, it was horrible. It was terrifying.
Tashion Turner was in the passenger seat in July of 2024 when Lieutenant Furman pulled over her then-boyfriend, Trakar Williams, for driving around traffic barricades. From the start, she said Furman made her uncomfortable, so she pulled out her cell phone and began to record.
My focus was having proof and calming my kids down.
After asking Williams to step out of his vehicle, Furman would repeatedly use his taser to drive stun Williams, who he said was uncooperative. After Williams was subdued and handcuffed, Furman would later be seen grabbing his hair and pulling his head into a fire truck after he stood up.
When I saw Lieutenant Furman grab him by his hair and pull it, and determined that that was not necessary and I needed to intervene.
The second officer on the scene that day, Lieutenant Humaya Rahman.
Mr. Williams asked you at one point, would you have tased someone like that? And what was your answer?
I said I wouldn't.
Under cross-examination, Furman's attorney argued that his client only used force because Williams was uncooperative.
You didn't file a report.
with the chief to say there's excessive force because everything that you observed that day was within Melvindale Police policy right here, correct?
I would disagree with that.
Did you file a report in this case for excessive force against Lieutenant Furman?
No, I did not.
Also testifying today, Alicia Cook, a mother who sat in a parked vehicle outside of her daughter's school back in April of 2024 when Furman approached, saying he noticed her expired tag.
I asked him why was I being pulled over and I was parked, and he said that was his damn job.
Hey, you're on a traffic stop. Don't tell me 1 second.
Cook said Furman's demeanor frightened her, so she didn't turn off her vehicle or provide her driver's license.
Because I was afraid that if I would have gotten out of the car, I wouldn't be here today.
The scene would escalate, with Furman opening Cook's car door and reaching into the vehicle. Then later on, teasing her twice with her 12 and 16-year-old daughters in the car.
I didn't understand why he was so belligerent and aggressive towards me, and it sent me into a shock mode, so much so that when he jumped in the window, I actually used the restroom on myself.
And testimony will continue tomorrow, with both sides expected to make closing arguments by the afternoon and ultimately handing this case over to the jury. We're outside Circuit Court. I'm Ross Jones, 7 News, Detroit.
Thank you, Ross. Now, if you have a tip for the 7 investigators, here at 7 News Detroit, you can email tips at wxyz.com. The 7 investigators focus on in-depth stories, corruption, and community issues, and they're always ready to listen to you.
At Middlesex Health, we're doing modern medicine our way.
Nah, y'all can go with that shit. Another motherfucking boom.